like that. These bullets fly like how about us?
We had to get rid of. I ain't gon' show no love. Put them face down in these streets, that me thought you was tough. Pedal to the flow, there's no reason not to speed it up. Hear that turbo flutter, that's the shit they wanna get rid of. Bitch, I'm back and better at the club, I told her fill my cup. Told her she the one, I can't express the way I feel by y'all. Know this shit forever, don't you ever leave me feeling numb. He ain't talking tough, now he a bitch we bout to get rid of.
Oh, baby. Did we finally get some good moves in this market? Oh my God, we have been waiting for the good moves. We haven't gotten them. We've been waiting so patiently to get just a decent little trend on the day. We finally got it. I mean, to say it was a trend day is a little bit of a reach. But we did get a first, initial trend in the morning that was pretty solid. And we're able to, well, I didn't really capitalize on the trend on the day, to be honest with you. I'm going to run through the trades. You guys are going to see exactly what I mean. But it was an interesting morning for sure. But finally got a day where we actually had some decent volatility and some decent movement in the market. I mean, ended up getting bought back at the end of the day after selling off in the morning. But nonetheless, it was way better movement than what we saw all last week, right? So let's hop right into the trades here. It all starts with London Open. The London Open, I was short off this lower high. Not initially like right off the top. I got it a slight bit lower into the 97s there, but caught my short there, got a beautiful move down. I didn't capture the whole move to the downside. I was trimming into that 30, but because I had a liquidity level and a wick there from earlier, so I wanted to be trimming into there, but nonetheless, a beautiful move there. Then we ended up dropping all the way down to 60, where I ended up getting long, like right around that 70, 60 area. I was pressing the longs there. Ended up catching a beautiful move back to the upside. And I ended the night. I think I was up like 250 bucks to end the night. I don't exactly remember, to be honest with you. But then wake up this morning. Market opens up, instant sells off from the 5-minute EMAs right there. All the 5-minute EMAs were bunched up right at open. We opened up and just insta sold off all the way down here. I definitely wanted the shorts. I was initially thinking short, but I also wasn't just gonna get short on these nasty candles to the downside. I felt like I was chasing the move. Now, chasing the move here, I mean, it would have actually worked out if I chased the lows of this, right? But that doesn't practice good behavior. If I'm doing that, I'm not practicing good behavior in the market. So I don't want to be doing that overall. Sometimes it can work out for you. And if you do end up taking those kind of risky positions, it's okay. It's just, you got to have tight risk management, right? And most people, when they take those risky positions like that, they don't have any risk management, right? So just some thoughts there. I didn't want to get short at the lows, you know what I mean? Especially with all the volatility, I was like, if I try and short at the lows and this bounces, I'm gonna get smoked, right, on a bounce. I don't want to do that. So I was waiting patiently. It just kept dropping and dropping, like no bounces were happening. So we actually just kept dropping right into a pivot I had, and so I ended up taking some longs on my pivot right below the figure. So I had entries 15 points below the figure here at 20,000. You guys know, if you've been hanging out with me in the Discord, or if you've been listening to me on the stream, I've been looking for MNQ since, the past few days to come into this 20,000. Well, we finally did. And I was thinking that I wanted to long in that area. Overall, it wasn't even that great of a move, but at the time, we caught a nice little scalp, right? Got long off that 85, 86 there. Caught a nice scalp to the upside into the 5-minute EMAs. And I was trimming into that. I got out full position because all the volatility was like sketching me out. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take my profits. The past few days, I've been kind of giving back profits. So I'm just going to take my money and I'm going to leave. And that's exactly what I did. I took my money. I left. It ended up being a great short. I should have sold those contracts and then went short. That would have been the great move. I didn't end up doing that, which is totally fine, right? I caught myself a great scalp. At the end of the day, the overall moves were to the downside, right? Had I shorted that pop, I would have caught an even bigger move to the downside there. But you live and you learn, right? I'm not always going to catch the move perfectly, right? And neither are you, right? You just got to capitalize on what you can and get your slice of the pie where you can and run with your profits, right? It's all we can do in the markets, especially lately, guys. it's really been a tough environment, right? So again, don't beat yourself up. Today, we definitely had a lot more movement. In my opinion, it was a lot easier to capitalize on the movement that was here today. I mean, let me run through this orb here, right? I mean, we lost orb low here. We formed orb low, which is where I was getting long. We ended up losing that. Guys, I'm going to make a video talking about the whole orb strategy and everything, but right here, you're going to get a little taste of it, basically. You can see we broke orb, which I used 30-minute orb. You can use whatever orb you want. I just prefer the 30-minute orb. It's what I learned with, and it's what I like the best. I've tried like the 15-minute here and there. I just prefer the 30-minute, but you do whatever works for you. At the end of the day, ended up dropping through the bottom of that orb, and then we got the back test. When we look for these orb moves on the orb strategy, it's always a break and base, right? A break and retest of the orb. So the problem is, though, on range days, that doesn't work, right? If you tried to do that on a day like yesterday, that didn't work. Instead, on a day like yesterday, we trade within the orb the whole day. So instead of trying to take positions after a break and base outside of orb, we're just taking positions within the orb range all day. Once we get to the top of orb, we're starting to short some. Once we get to the bottom of orb, we're starting to long some, right? And until we actually break out of that orb range, I'm just going to keep playing that range back and forth, right? But on days like we had today, where we definitely have more volatility, right? We have more trendiness. I know it wasn't, I guess, the most beautiful trend day. We got a nice move down, but it wasn't the most beautiful trend day. We ended up popping back up pretty good, like almost 50% back up, right? So not the best trend day, but regardless, on days like this, you can expect a lot more movement, a lot more trendiness, right? With the volatility that we had. So that's why I didn't expect us to stay in the orb, especially when I saw this 5-minute candle start to break the lows here. I was like, oh no, we're going to try and break and base this range. So what I did is I actually ended up locking my account after this scalp because I made 500 bucks. Let's go to it. $571 on the day. So, you know, I'm going to run with my profits, right? I thought I'm going to just take my profits, move on. We'll do the same thing tomorrow and just create that consistency, right? That's what I'm looking for. So that's what we're going to do. I ended up locking my account so I couldn't take any more trades, but I was talking all day on the stream saying, guys, we broke orb low. Any back tests of orb low should be shorted. Every back test you look at from today was shorted off of orb. They were great short entries to take. You could have done it here after the initial break, right? Caught a beautiful move to the downside. Then we popped back up, right back into orb. You could have got short again, right, to the downside. And then later in the day, the back half of the day, we popped up. We popped back into orb. And I told everybody on Spaces and on the stream, I am not thinking short here. I would not be shorting this orb low. And you might ask me, well, Jordan, you've been shorting orb low all day, or you've been saying that that's a good entry. Why is it not a good entry now? Well, look at the market structure, guys. The market structure all morning was lower lows and lower highs, right? But then the market structure started to change, right? We got a pop back to orb and rejected right there, right? Back down to the lows because we had no higher lows in the market yet. But then we came back down and we made a higher low right off that 50 mark on MNQ. We made a higher low right off that 50 mark, got nice aggressive movement from the lows there, right? So in my opinion, noticing that the market structure is changing, it's not always going to happen. Sometimes you still pop up, make a higher low, and end up rejecting orb, right? You're not always going to nail it perfectly. But I play probabilities, right? And the probability here is that we're probably more likely to try and make a higher high since the market structure is trying to change than not, right? That's how I'm thinking in my head here. Since they let the market make a higher low off that 50 and I see aggressive buying happening, coming back to this orb, I'm not going to think to short anymore. The short was multiple times previously in the morning. There was already opportunity to short. That opportunity is now gone. Why? For one, look at the momentum on the candlesticks. And for two, the market structure was changing. It went from lower lows and lower highs to now making higher lows. And when I see that higher low in the aggressive buying, the potential for the higher high is very high, and that's exactly what happened. We broke that 93 596 area, made the higher high, right? Ended up turning into a great short if you shorted up here off that 80, right? But I mean, you wouldn't have wanted to hold from orb low all the way through this pump, all the way back down. That would have been a brutal downside hold. And, you know, I wouldn't wish anybody to hold through something like that, right? You got to have your stops in. So just a little bit of thoughts there. It might seem like, I know it might seem like today, like, oh my gosh, Jordan, how could you know that? It's like a crystal ball. And it's, guys, it's not a crystal ball. It's just, it's simple market structure. You know what I mean? The market structure was one way, and then I noticed it starting to change another way. So the probability of it doing one thing to the upside is now higher, right? So I think that's going to happen. I'm going to run with the probabilities, right? Very simple. So I didn't take any more trades for the day. I had my account locked, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Then we had Globex open up here. I caught a short. Oh, I caught a short right here, guys. Off this 62. I got short some off this for a lower high. I had a liquidity spot here. That 62 is the spot for me. I was getting short into that. We got a nice little drop to the EMAs. Literally, I got out at the EMAs. It ended up dropping a little bit more. But not a crazy trade. It was just a small trade to start Globex and to start the next calendar day. So we'll see what happens. That $130 could go away real quick, right? I could give that back on another trade at open tomorrow on the New York session. So we'll see what happens, but it's a nice little cushion to start, right? It's a nice little $130 of cushion that I have before I actually start turning red on the day for tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get that market movement to keep going. I know we had some more volatility today, and VIX is definitely higher. I know we got over 20 today. I don't remember if it held or not. We could take a look here. Ended up closing below 20, but we're right around that area, right? So volatility is a little bit higher. You're going to see longer wicks. You're going to see, you know, just more volatility overall in the candlesticks you're trading. I'm sure you guys noticed it today when the market opened. You know what I mean? The candlesticks, I mean, the first 5-minute candlestick this morning was bigger than, I mean, the majority of the whole Globex session last night. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show that the volatility picked up a decent amount, right? So definitely be safe out there, guys. Follow your stops, right? Make sure you have those stops in, especially with futures, man. You got to have your plan and play it accordingly, man. That's all we can do is execute our plan, and profits will fall into our lap. All right, guys. Been a great day. We'll see everybody tomorrow, bright and early. Make sure you guys are tuning in to the streams. I mean, we're live every day on YouTube here, guys, for 100% free. We start at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we go pretty much till market close every day. Some days I ended a little bit early, but most days we're live all the way till market close. So make sure you're tuning in. Appreciate everybody. Like and subscribe for the videos, and we'll see you guys back tomorrow. Peace.